So today I need to make an open casket spray with red and white roses. So we are now in complete lockdown, and besides, it's just a few days before Valentine's Day, so roses, especially in red and white, are kind of hard to buy and they are very expensive in flower shops. If you plan on ordering a casket spray online or from the store, it'll be even more expensive. So this is what I did. I bought these mixed roses in the supermarket, which is much cheaper. From these bunches, I will choose separately red roses and one kind of white roses, for example, Vendella. For greens, I will cut some blue spruce and a little cedar, which I grow in my garden. Evergreen will also be an excellent filler, and moreover, they are traditionally used for these purposes and they symbolize eternal life. So to begin, I'm going to soak an oasis sponge in some warm water simply by placing it on the surface, and I'm not going to push it down or press it, otherwise air pockets may form, and when you put your roses into the sponge, the flower will wither. Therefore, you need to give it time for the sponge to be saturated with water by itself. It is also necessary to prepare a plastic casket flower holder for this kind of arrangement. Basically, I need to glue first the anti-slip material in advance. Otherwise, the heavy arrangement may slide off the uneven surface of the lid. Then I put the soaked sponge into a plastic bag, and I do this to keep it from drying out. And I secure everything with floral tape in a crisscross pattern. In many books and manuals for florists, it is traditionally recommended to begin assembling your casket arrangement with the design and the landscaping of the base. But over the course of many years of experience, I'm going to offer you another scheme and explain why, and show that my scheme has its own advantages, and at the end, the result does not differ in any way. I always start the design with flowers, especially if they are roses, since roses suffer the most if there isn't enough moisture for a prolonged period of time, and they hang their heads right away. Or if you need to work with soft-stemmed flowers, such as tulips or calla lilies, which you simply cannot stick into a sponge without breaking, especially if the greenery stems are already there. So to begin, I'm going to set myself an approximate size. That is, I set the height, length, and width using roses and thus determining what size I would like to have my finished product be. Since I need to make an open casket spray, it'll be slightly asymmetrical, shorter to the center of the casket and more cascading and falling towards the end. I cut the roses of different lengths accordingly, and then alternating colors, I just fill in the intermediate spaces kind of in a checkerboard pattern. If the plastic bag is not being pierced by the stem of the rose, you can make an incision with a knife before sticking the rose in. Moreover, to create a cascade effect, I will place the roses more tightly next to each other in the center, leaving small gaps between the roses, and going farther from the center, the less compact and the less dense I will place the roses, leaving larger gaps in between them. Also, to create the effect of depth in a flower arrangement, you do not need to place all the roses along one line, but for a more natural look, you can arrange some roses as if they're deeper than others. This is both a design rule and just another way to create depth and give a more natural look to the volume. Likewise, with longer roses that provide a cascade effect, there is no need to arrange them along a strictly mentally drawn line. Some roses can be longer than others, and some slight asymmetry is allowed for the style, and once again, to keep that natural look, because the main thing is to maintain balance and proportion. When I finally use all the flowers I have allotted for this arrangement, I've used 25 white and about 50 red roses, and I'm happy with the visual harmony. I'm going to start filling in the gaps with greenery. I will cover the plastic tray with fluffy cedar stems, and since it is winter outside and the color of the cedar is not too bright, I will use the backside of the branches, which looks pretty tolerable. And between the roses, I will place mostly blue spruce. When all my roses sit securely in the floral sponge and I know that they will not suffer from dehydration, It doesn't matter to me at all how well my branches of greenery have access to water. Spruce and cedar will not suffer from dehydration, even if you need this floral arrangement for several days. When the greenery is filled in last and the flowers go first, it's not possible to break the stems of the roses when they fall onto other stems already in the sponge, especially the greenery. And the last advantage is when I start with the flowers first, it's more difficult to make a mistake with the size of the casket spray. When the flowers are balanced and I use them to complete the arrangement, and I use the flowers I was planning on using, the greenery is only left to finish framing. If the size is set by the greenery, then it is really easy to make a mistake and you may end up needing more or less flowers. And in this case, you'll have to change either the number of flowers or rearrange the greens. Excessive rearrangement of the flowers from place to place forms additional unnecessary cavities in the sponge, which is bad for the flowers in the end. So when everything's ready, the flowers can be sprayed with water and placed in a floral refrigerator, and if you don't have one, in a cool room. Storage temperature should be around 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, ideally. And it is necessary to prepare the flowers the day before the ceremony, which makes it possible for the roses to open up and look more full. I will also reveal to you one secret from my practice that, as a rule, if you yourself, you like your final result and nothing bothers you looking at it, then your customer will also like your work. Please see all other floral videos on our channel, as well as how to prepare standing wreaths for the same purposes. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any comments or questions you have below, and don't forget to subscribe.